We also have some active transport processes. This would be where we do need to use energy in the form of ATP. Why? Well, if they're not lipid soluble, lipids, fats, right? If it's something that doesn't easily travel through fats, we're going to need energy. If they're too large, the molecules are way too big, we're going to need to use energy. Or if they're on the wrong side of the gradient. Again, I keep coming back to mentally thinking about that slide. If you are at the top of the slide, it takes no energy to slide to the bottom. But if you're at the bottom of the slide and you're now moving up the slide, it takes a lot of energy to climb up that slide. That's what we mean by you're on the wrong side of the gradient. You're moving from low to high rather than high to low. So we have some different terminology here. We had symport, antiport. Sim meaning
the same.
The same, yeah, hooked on phonics, right up there. Anti, against. And then we had our endocytosis. Where are things moving if we have an endocytosis? Into, so because endo means
inside,
cell, and then a condition or pertaining to. So endocytosis is pertaining to entering a cell. So it's moving in. Phagio, tell me the med term, what does phagio mean?
eating.
Pino.
Liquid.
Because see, it's not stupid if it works. You immediately think, I think Pinot Grigio. And what do you do with a nice Pinot Grigio? You drink it. And then
Savor
receptor, which is where we do have a specialized opening, but it only allows things that combine. Tell me exocytosis. What is exo?
The condition of moving of things out of a cell.
This is going to be very nice. A condition pertaining to movement outside of the cell. Exo, outside. Site, cell, osis, pertaining to. So what goes in must come out. Just like me, if I am personally now just a giant cell, I eat my Chipotle burrito, phagocytosis. I drink my Pinot Grigio, pinocytosis. And then eventually exocytosis. I get the exocytosis in the form of waste. Or other products, remember, because our cells can also make really great stuff that I can share with the world, but I got to be able to get it out of me in order to do that. So we have here active transport, using energy, and where we might need to have this like special carrier protein. As I said, this is just a picture eliminating everything I've just said in the last slide, is that we have movement against the gradient. We just have a whole bunch of different ways to help us with that movement up the slide rather than down. Did y'all hear the ship got unstuck? That was big news there for a bit.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah,
It's
high
floating.
tide, they had like 6 tugboats pull it free.
The Evergreen.
I seen the,
Okay, so
It was a
there's
container ship that got stuck inside of the,
Suez Canal.
yeah,
so everyone was panicking this.
So there was a giant ship, it's one of the largest cargo ships on the planet, that was moving through a canal. 10% of the entire Earth's economy, goods moves through this canal, and it blocked it. So 10% of the world's entire trade was stopped is costing upwards of $9 billion a day per day.
It was
How many
like
days
almost
was
like
stuck
5
there?
days, wasn't it?
It was a week.
Yeah.
It was a week.
And they had toilet paper on there.
It is free. It
The
is.
whole thing's wild because they got stuck and then they drew something in the water before they got stuck.
Oh, it was crazy.
Can you go back yourself?
Absolutely.
For a minute.
So yeah, they freed the ship yesterday. So there's your current event for today. Your current event. The ship is free.
If our scrubs come in, could we email you? Because I have a husband here on Monday. Can we come in and see you?
Yep. Sure thing.
When are, at this point, when are you kind of expecting those to come in?
Oh my goodness. At this point, this week, that's all I know.
So I have my shower shift Wednesday and Thursday. Is it gonna matter if I'm in city or not?
No, not at all. If you don't have your scrubs, you can't wear your scrubs. And if you are in husbandry on a day that you're not normally supposed to be here on campus, come to class. I don't require that you Zoom just because you're scheduled to Zoom. In fact, I think you and I already talked about
Yeah,
this,
I'm
Sean.
gonna do it, on Thursday because I have AM, so.
Yeah.
So I can come in at, yeah.
So if you guys have an AM shift on a day that you're not normally supposed to be here, so on a Wednesday or Thursday, just come and join the other group and say hello. They're lovely. They are lovely. All right, so here's just a picture for you little visual learners of endocytosis. This is where the cell is taking in solid material. Solid material is referred to as phagocytosis, phago or phago, depending on who taught you. The pronunciation is,
There you go.
you could, my instructor actually did both, phago and phago. So it just depends on who taught you. Both are correct. But this is going to be to eat. So here we have cells that are engulfing and taking in solid molecular material. I love this little picture. It looks like kind of a weird Pac-Man, alien Pac-Man.
It looks like something you see on one of those old Pixar videos.
It really does. Yes. I just watched the most fabulous documentary about Pixar.
What's it called?
Inside
I
Pixar.
saw that last night on Disney. I didn't watch it yet.
It was fabulous.
Okay, I was thinking.
There are
about
these
watching
little 10 or 15 minute, they're tiny little, there's like 10 episodes, but they go from the artistic creatives to the pastry chef who makes all of the stuff for the cafeteria and the groundskeeper and what is her role and how do they all contribute to,
I need to watch that.
it was fabulous. You're gonna love it. I'm a huge Pixar fan.
Like with the whole Toy Story, they had to redo it 4 times in order for it to be perfect.
Oh, you have no idea. I had no idea. They build the whole world. And I was thinking, they do it frame by frame. No, what they do is they digitally create a world and then they digitally create a little camera. And it's no different than me having a camera and filming you guys right now, except it's in the computer. It was fabulous. You're gonna love it. That's all I can say. All right, so phagopinoreceptor. This is just another slide specific, if I can show it to you in a variety of different ways, we're getting a bunch of different pathways. Gonna help you to remember. Here's a wonderful little picture. Yes,
Can
I
you go
can
back yourself?
Yes. These are just the 3 words we've just spent the last 15 minutes defining. Laser pointer. group are you going to do in behavior?
We're working group.
Are you doing the working group? Lovely. Love it. Does anyone know what the color combination for a black and white Great Dane is called? Say it?
Harlequin.
You say Harlequin. And what's gonna happen to you if you say to the owner that's a beautiful black and white dog?
You're gonna punch it
In the throat. They're gonna punch you in the throat.
We're not there yet.
Oh, do you have a
I
Harlequin?
don't have a Harlequin, I have a Blue Merle.
Oh, a Dane? Shut up.
And then a Brindle Dane.
Shut up.
I have
The Harlequins, though, you know, the Dane people are crazy. Dane
Yeah.
people be crazy.
Like I used to take me to the dog show in Houston, and he would like piss off all the owners and like purposely like mispronounce their name. He'd be like, "Oh, that's a beautiful Japanese Shar-Pei you have," and they would lose their shit. It was
Oh
so
my
funny.
gosh, that's like going to a Star Trek convention and being like, Star Wars sucks.
Can't wait for High Solo to come through the blast doors. That's nice.
Oh God, Sean. All right, so here we have a picture. Here I have my cell membrane, right? This is my cell membrane. Here I have a solid particle that I'm trying to move into the cell. So the solid particle gets engulfed. It gets transported in the vesicle or the vacuole and then moved through wherever it is it needs to go. Here are the little blue.
Are those little caves?
Do what?
Is that the same as the caviole?
For this is just for transport. For this, all we need to know, separate engulfing into the cell. Here are the little squares or diamonds, depending on how you're looking at it. This is just representing fluid, exact same method. Here we have our little stars. The stars are the only thing that are going to join with our receptors. Therefore, they are the only thing transported. So this is just yet another, I've got like 15 slides explaining the exact same thing. And yes, I did a Google image search on dogs pooping. So this is our exocytosis. Traditionally, it's going to be our waste, like our pooping dog. I actually have a calendar that is a pooping dog calendar. It's amazing. Every month is a beautiful, absolutely picturesque photo of some random place. But there's like the mountains and the city and the rivers and the lakes, and it's gorgeous background, and then dog randomly pooping.
That does not surprise me that you have this.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it makes me so happy because there's this gorgeous, gorgeous landscape, and then pooping dog.
One of my favorite videos I've ever seen is like the Google World Search, and it's like it zooms in and it goes on this brick wall, and all of a sudden there's like this Derby cat.
Right?
One of my favorite things ever.
So pooping dog, pooping cell. We're doing the same process, just in reverse. As you can see here, we have either toxins or protein, just literally anything that needs to be ejected. We have our transport vesicle come up, it joins with the bilayer, and then it evacuates. So it's the exact same process, just putting stuff out rather than stuff in. And those are the methods with which we can move stuff in and out of our cells. Now we're going to do just a handshake. How do you do to mitosis? I know some of you are, I know, don't. It's okay. It's okay. Mitosis is really pretty fascinating. I'm seeing that some of you have been traumatized in the past. Okay, so mitosis is, I think it's amazing. Mitosis is how the majority of your cells are replicating right now. Your body, your brain is sending messages hey, go ahead and turn on the replicator, the replicating machine. And if I'm a cell, now suddenly I'm like, "Brrr, brrr," and there's a whole stage is filled with huffs. Then my brain goes, okay, that's enough huff. We don't need any more huffs. And it turns me off. How do we do this fabulous thing? And what is the difference between these two words, meiosis and mitosis? We're going to focus on mitosis, which is where we have an exact copy of a cell. As I said, the majority of your cells are going to replicate by mitosis, which makes sense. If my liver cell, if I had a few too many burrs and my liver's like, oh my God, we need to replicate some healthy cells. I want those cells to be exact copies because they are going to have the blueprint and the textbook and understand how to function as a liver cell. What do you think might happen if I start forming cells in my liver that do not know how to work like a liver cell? You're gonna die because your liver doesn't function anymore. And technically, BAM, that's kind of the definition of cancer, is when you have cells in an area that are now replicating incorrectly. And now those incorrect cells are making exact copies of other incorrect cells. So mitosis. When I'm shedding my skin, you guys know we're disgusting. Humans are gross. We shed like 4 pounds of skin cells a year. A year. All of the dust in your house is dead skin cells. It's disgusting. No, it is. But we have these, especially for my epithelium, which happens to be the cells you can see. See, here's a little, I give a little bit of huff. There's a little huff for everybody. I give you a little bit of huff. There you go. But as I am using, I have cells underneath ready to take place.
7 years that all your cells are like freeze.
I mean, that's what they say. Let's just leave it at that. That's what they say. You have some structures that are going to replicate far more efficiently and far more quickly than others. Meiosis. Meiosis is not exact replication. You are all a product of meiosis. Meiosis is where you have half from one cell, half from another cell, bippity boppity boop, we get a brand new cell with a contribution of both. I have half of my father's DNA and half of my mother's DNA, and it got stewed all together and made me me. I have my father, the shape of my father's eyes, but the color of my mother's eyes. I got, all of the physical traits. I got my mother's family's nose. It's called the Ridley nose. Got kind of a hook on it. I got a beak. But that's what gives me the traits that you can pick out in yourself. Well, this is obviously my mom. This is obviously my dad. That's meiosis.
Aren't identical twins definition of both?
So an identical twin, there are 2 different types of identical twins. Either one egg, or not 2 different types of identical, 2 different types of twins. One egg splits into 2. And that's when you do have the identical DNA of both, which is why they're identical.
That's not a definition of mitosis then, or?
So you're up here. I need you to come back down.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I love the question. Meiosis, however, we're not getting into a huge discussion because we're not really talking about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than definition, you're not getting an exact replication. Mitosis is where we're at, where we've got an exact replication. All right, so as your cell grows and matures, just like a person, You have baby cells, you have teenage cells, you have adult cells, senior cells, and dead cells. During this growth and development, when we are maturing, so this is my cell. This is my little visual representation. I got baby cell, growing up to be a tween cell, growing up to be a U cell. This is known as interphase. Interphase is where we are growing, developing, working, we're doing a little cell job. We are literally doing no replication. If you want to break this down into two categories, you have interphase and you have mitosis. Interphase is the cell is doing literally everything except dividing. Mitosis is where we are making a copy. Time flies when we are having fun. We're going to pick it up here and we're going to continue covering mitosis. Again, don't panic, you guys. Don't panic. There's only 4 stages and they're super easy. And I will turn this bus around if I need to. What was that?
I think you're telling us not to panic as we're panicking.
Don't panic. I will turn this bus around. You guys know me by now. This bus does not take off until everybody is on it. All right. You guys have a wonderful day.